everyone, welcome to this week's episode of our podcast, Is Breakfast Included? Thank you for stopping by. Today we're chatting with Adam Moyer and Kiara Williams, the talented duo known as Key to Adam. These two met in the most unexpected way. They bonded over music and haven't stopped playing together since. You'll get to hear how they built their unique sound, performing everything from original music to traditional fiddle tunes to Metallica covers, and what it's like balancing their creative work with personal challenges. This episode has heartwarming moments, some laughter, and a whole lot of inspiration. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we dive into the world of Key to Adam.
Tell everyone who you are.
All right, so we're Key to Adam. I'm Adam Moyer, and this is Kiara Williams. Her nickname's Key, and that's part of the reason that we're named Key to Adam. And so if you want to tell how we met, because
let me hear a little bit about you guys. Where you from? How you started playing? Your respective instruments.
Absolutely. So I'm originally from New Jersey. I grew up near Lisa, and we grew up near Philadelphia, which is it's a lot of fun to think back on.
And I'm born and raised in the mountains of West Virginia.
That's right. So this is genuinely like a city meets country kind of situation. It's a lot of fun.
How did you guys meet?
So we met. So I went through a pretty tough period where I was having some physical issues and I had to have some surgeries, and I was really just not doing great. And when I was recovering from all that, I ended up moving. My mom had moved here. And so I had moved down here. I needed something more serene, peaceful, free food doesn't hurt at mom's house. And so it was a nice way to kind of recover. And so I was using music primarily as a way to really as therapy. I would play. I didn't even consider myself necessarily a musician with guitar. I used to play saxophone growing up in the marching band. And then I picked up guitar and just fiddled around with it. I was that guy that knew how to play like two songs. And like if somebody at a party had a guitar, I could pick it up and do something, but I really couldn't play.
Right.
And so I just honestly, I would just play if I couldn't sleep. If I was in a lot of pain, I would play for 6-7 hours straight, just with my eyes closed as like a meditation. And interestingly enough, when I first decided to start like actually playing music, Lisa might remember, I reached out to Lisa and I told her about it. And she was my first YouTube subscriber when I was doing my solo
Number
stuff.
one fan.
That's exactly right. And I can not tell you how much I appreciate it. So thank you so much for all the support.
Can't believe how far you've come.
Well, thank you so much.
It's amazing.
I can't either, because I honestly just saw this was for me medicine. I really couldn't do anything else. I went through a period almost for 3 years where I was genuinely agoraphobic. I couldn't leave my house. I would only leave for doctor's appointments. If I had to go, this was before like delivery for things. So if I had to go shopping, I would go to Walmart at 2 a.m. and never see anybody, that kind of thing. And so when I moved here, I really was afraid to leave my house. And so I started using the guitar as a way to force myself out of the house. And I would just walk around, like when there's a college right down the street from where my mom lived, and I could walk to it. And so when school was out, I would go on campus, so it wasn't a whole bunch of people, and I would just play walking around the beautiful areas and just pretty things like that. And then I started taking my guitar everywhere. I would go, like when I would go to doctor's appointments, because I was just afraid to talk to people. So I would sit in the waiting room and just play guitar while I was waiting. And so I wanted to try to meet other musicians at one point, and I do fingerstyle guitar. So if you go to an open mic and it's 1 a.m. and you're playing fingerstyle guitar, people don't dislike it, but it's not really the same setting for what you're looking to do. Some guy's wailing out something right before you, and then you're putting people to sleep. So I started a daytime open mic where anybody could come, because I just wanted anybody to come and just bring whatever instrument they had. And so for a few months it was really fun. We had all sorts of people come. I had an accordion guy came, triangle guy.
Oh wow!
Somebody brought spoons and did a whole spoon thing, and we allowed like poetry reading, anything. It was just any kind of art, bring it. And because it was during the day, it really opened it up to just a whole range. So this one gentleman, I call him our guardian angel. I almost call him like our Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life, but he's like but he kind of tells dirty jokes too. So he's kind of like a confusing Clarence, but he's the coolest guy in the world. His name's Ron Pugh, and he knew Kiara. So Kiara was actually, and I won't get too much into her story because I'll let her tell it. But
Tell us.
that's right. But he knew of her, and he was one of her biggest supporters. And he had been trying to convince her to come for the longest time. And he actually came one time. He came with a washtub bass, and he was playing along with a washtub bass. It reminded me of that Emmett Otter washtub Christmas thing. But anyway, so essentially, I would sit, and if nobody wanted to play themselves, I would just play chord progressions and let people play along. And a lot of times, everybody would be playing along, or it would just be one guy with a banjo that was too loud, because that was all the time. I'm kidding, but but anyway. So one day I was sitting there, and Ron had after months, had finally convinced Kiara to come, and I was playing a chord progression, and I swear it was like a Hallmark movie where she started playing along in a place that was normally pretty loud, even when people were playing, or, just, it went as quiet as it, like it was, you could hear, it was amazing. And I was like, literally in tears, just from what I was like, I had never heard, it was like I was picking chord progressions and hearing things that I would never have even considered playing along with them. And it sounded incredible. And so,
After we got done playing.
After we got done playing, this guy came up, and he said, "I'm doing a local documentary for the Rivers in Buchanan. I would love to record that song." And I said,
Hollywood.
"Yeah, it wasn't a big. This was literally just this was a local guy. Yeah, this was not. Yeah, this wasn't like But he said, I'd love to record that song." And I said, "Well, we've never met. That wasn't even a song." I said, I want to hear it myself again. So Kiara also had used music for therapy, and I'll let her tell that story again, but just to kind of use that as a way to preface by saying that so the next day she came over and we practiced, and this is not an exaggeration. We played for 8 straight hours without really stopping at all. And then it was 6, this is not hyperbole, 6 straight months, 7 days a week. We didn't miss one day, because I did it every day anyway. Like, I would sit and play for 6 hours. I could do nothing else. I mean that sincerely.
But you met someone who could keep up with you.
Yes, it was amazing. And so we did. After 6 months, we got done, and we were like, this is sounding pretty good. And so we were trying to play out, and so we did a lot of like retirement homes and schools at first. And I'll tell you more about that, but we'll get into that part of it. But that's how we met, essentially. And it really was. When I think back, I tear up every time. I can't tell that story without tearing up. I was crying in Walmart last night we ran into this lady. She was telling her daughter our story, and she made me help tell it. And then I started, every time I just tear, because it was like,
oh,
it was a quintessential moment of my life. Truly.
Right on, man.
That's amazing.
So
Kiara,
yes, tell your story.
Tell us a little about you.
She got it.
Good.
Who's the organized one here, huh?
I get it. I get it.
When I was little, my mom showed me a video of Charlie Daniels playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I immediately knew that I wanted to learn how to play the fiddle. And at that Christmas, my parents bought me a violin, and I really wanted to learn, but my elementary school didn't have a strings program, so I had to wait until I was in middle school to start learning.
I know you.
And so my strings teacher didn't really know how to teach the old time music that I wanted to learn, so I started teaching myself. And whenever I got into high school, I was getting bullied a lot. So my mom pulled me out and started homeschooling me. But I was able to take my music to the next level with being homeschooled. And then 2015, I won the West Virginia junior fiddle competition.
I'm the one that always says that. So she almost like, yeah. So so I always say she's the 2015 West Virginia Junior Fiddle Champ.
Yeah.
It's quite a mouthful. But one of the things I love about that, I always say, if you're like the best fiddler in like New Hampshire, that's cool. You're the best fiddler in West Virginia.
Yeah.
No offense to New Hampshire. I'm sure they have amazing fiddlers. I just mean this is the heart of fiddle area.
No. Exactly.
That's a good point. I agree with that statement.
I look back and I think like it's 2024 and 2015 seems so far away now.
Yeah.
But whenever I won the fiddle competition, a couple of years before that, my mom showed me a video of Lindsay Sterling playing the Phantom of the Opera, and she was playing a 5-string wood violins instrument. If you see our stuff, you see I play a 7-string electric violin. It's shaped like a V. Looks pretty rock starish.
It does.
It is awesome. It is awesome.
Instrument. And when I won the competition, Mom and Dad took me down to North Carolina, and we put in a custom order for the instrument, and it was like so fun because it was a gift for winning the competition. And I now have a 7-string version of the instrument, and I'm sponsored by them now. And
she's sponsored by Wood Violins, which is so
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it really was. It was such a it's one of those companies that's more like a niche company.
Yeah,
and they don't really do that with a lot of artists. So that was such a big thing, and that was one of her goals. So I was just so proud of her for it. That was awesome. Really
I have a question, Kiara. What's in your mind? What's the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
So it's the way you play it. So it's more like singular notes.
Yeah.
And fiddle is more like double notes. So you play 2 notes at the exact same time.
Okay.
Yeah. On our new CD, we came out with Go Rest High on That Mountain for the religious CD. And it's just so beautiful getting to hear the double notes of the fiddle in that song.
It is one of the things. So, and I always equate it. So because Kiara started off as a fiddler and then kind of transitioned to violin, she still kind of has those fiddle roots. And it even it really translates into her violin playing. And what's cool, I almost equate it to like if you have a gospel singer and they go to sing a different genre, they still have those gospel roots. And so when she plays a note in the violin, even when she's not playing doubles, she gives it's a different vibrato. I don't know how to really describe it other than it almost sounds more like violins are beautiful. And when I hear classical violins, it's stunning. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it's almost this to me sounds almost more natural. I don't know how to describe it. But when she does also add in the doubles, it just gives it a discordant sound that just adds a dimension that really, it's just a depth and a dimension that just makes it, everybody tells us that it sounds like so many more instruments are playing than what is actually happening. And I always take that as such a high compliment because it just shows that we're really, honestly, making complex music with what we're doing.
No, I completely understand what you're saying there. There's a guitar player, Derek Trucks. You ever heard of Derek Trucks?
Yes. Yeah.
He's a slide guitar player. Very bluesy, but he's very influenced by Eastern Indian music and gospel music. And he'll just throw in these ghost notes, so to speak, and he's in the middle of a blues thing, and then it sounds like a gospel singer singing. Yep. So that makes a lot of sense to me that you can incorporate, all your styles into that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's great. And one of the other cool things that I love is that we try to do, so we have, obviously we play a lot of songs that are we do a lot of weddings. So we get a lot of requests for songs. So a lot of the stuff we learn is just pretty songs that are beautiful for weddings. But then on top of that, we get to kind of, we do so many different genres because we listen to so many, and because we just have the ability to do so much with the instruments that we have. And so we honestly, when people ask us what genres we do, we'll say we play anything from Canon in D to Metallica to Led Zeppelin to Ed Sheeran to an old time fiddle song from before they even recorded Who Wrote It. Yeah. And so it really does make it fun because whenever we play somewhere, our goal is to play something that at least every single person there will appreciate at least one of the songs, at least one, hopefully more than that, but at least one of them, it'll make them either think of their childhood, regardless of what genre or when they grew up or what have you. It's something that'll just bring back some memories and hopefully some good memories. And
cool.
And make their day.
It's funny you say that. I was telling Lisa I'm going to ask him to play some Metallica before we let him go.
Oh, nice. Absolutely.
I'm joking.
For sure.
I'm joking.
Absolutely.
Who are your influences?
So it really would be for me. It's all over. I grew up with my mom listening to everything from Bonnie Raitt to just all sorts of music. I can't even the Beatles, just everything. And so that's what was kind of nice is I feel like my mom's influences were a very nice. She really liked all sorts of music. And then myself, I kind of grew up with the Metallica, Nirvana, that kind of Green Day, that era, if that makes sense. And so we kind of incorporate all of that. And then Kiara would be.
Well, whenever I started playing, I guess Charlie Daniels, because that was like a main influence of my life that got me started playing.
Yeah.
Thinking now, I'd have to think on that because I'm sorry.
You good?
Oh.
Are you a fan of Lindsey Stirling?
Yeah.
You said yes.
Sterling.
I can't get enough. I love Lindsey Stirling. In fact, I had listened to Lindsey Stirling before I met Kiara.
Take Flight.
And Take Flight is one of my favorite. I could listen to that on repeat for a week and I wouldn't ever get bored with it. And so that it's funny when I first heard Kiara play, that was one of the things that I thought of was Lindsey, not Take Flight, but just Lindsey Stirling in general. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she kind of brought that instrument to the forefront.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people play it, especially with the dancing and everything she does. She just puts on an entire show. I don't even know. I don't know how she does all of this stuff. I mean, she's doing like pirouettes while she's playing. That's impressive.
I saw on your social media you're a Breedlove artist.
Yes.
Are you endorsed by Breedlove?
I am. Yeah.
What do you like about those guitars?
I love them. So one of the things I like about Breedlove is I always say the look of a guitar isn't important really in the grand scheme of things. It's how it sounds, it's how it feels, it's how you feel playing it and everything. But if you have a guitar that sounds better than anyone you played and it also looks like a piece of art, that's just a win-win.
Yeah.
So when I literally went shopping, I was going to get a Taylor. I was hell-bent on a Taylor. I went almost 8 years playing guitar without ever owning a guitar. I just borrowed friends' guitars. And then I finally was able to buy my own. And I did. I was going to get a Taylor. And I went in and I saw a Breedlove hanging on the wall that it looked like a Taylor, and so I played all the Taylors. And then the guy said, this one's on clearance. They stopped making this model. You want to give it a shot? And I picked it up and it just was the most amazing sounding instrument I'd ever played. And so it was a no-brainer at that point. And so I took that one home. I played that for a number of years. And then I found another one that was shaped a little better because that's the only thing is I was playing for 8 hours at a time. And it was a dreadnought.
Yeah.
That bigger body style, which is great, except for your arm going to sleep after hour 4.5. And you have to start doing jumping jacks to get through. So I went with a smaller body style and I went with one that was more attuned to finger style guitar. Because when I bought it, it was more based on the sound, not just size. But their guitars are absolutely spectacular. The import models are very good. They're just as good as any other import models. But the ones that are made in Oregon are amazing. And what I really like too is they utilize a lot of the Oregon. So because they're based in Oregon, myrtle wood is really huge in Oregon, and it's kind of native to there, and it isn't really in many other places. So they actually kind of specialize in myrtle wood guitars, and they also have a huge stock of Brazilian rosewood that is paper. It actually has the paperwork that it was done harvested before the embargo and without getting into all that. They just are an amazing company. I'm rambling about them.
That's good. I wanted to know, Kiara, do you come from a musical family? Does anyone else?
No.
No, don't
My
sang or
like played, but it wasn't a lot. Now, like, how many grandpas ago was it? It was like sorry, like 4. There's a photo, an old photo of my, I don't know, great grandpa.
That's the one.
Yeah, playing my fiddle. So I don't know if he played a lot or if he just played it every once in a while, but I know that he did. I do not know his name. I actually think I have the photo back there, but it's somewhere back there.
We're gonna look into that.
keep us posted.
I'm excited to learn more about this, and I hope you're right about the great. I'm gonna hold you on a tangent.
I'm gonna go back to something you just said. You said for a number of years you didn't own a guitar. You just borrowed a guitar. So were you borrowing a guitar when you were learning?
Yes. Yeah. So back when I kind of knew how to play guitar, I owned a guitar at one point, and I moved into Glassboro apartments, and it disappeared one night, surprisingly. And so I never bought another one after that and so it was, I actually at one point traded a set of golf clubs for a guitar. And then somehow I gave the guitar back and I never got the golf clubs back. So that was a loss. But with all of that said, it all worked out great that I was able to have one when I needed to learn when I did. So that was a plus.
Yeah.
Guitars later,
now I have a few. I have a few and I still play the same one. I kind of it's become a thing. But they are really nice. They are.
And has playing guitar what you mentioned in the beginning, you were agoraphobic. Has playing with Kiara and playing guitar, has that helped you? Are you still suffering from some of those are you still kind of like
Oh yes. So actually playing guitar has definitely helped me. There's no question about that. If you were talking to me from 12 years ago, this conversation wouldn't even be really coherent and you would be worried for my safety. So honestly, like I was a wreck. It was really, I was a mess. Cause honestly, and just without getting into too much, but at the point it was, my back fell apart when I was 17, is really what happened. And it slowly went worse and worse. I was in the military at the time. I wasn't in for that long because of the back. And so when I left, I got into finance and I did that for a number of years. And then it just fell apart. And so it was during the time when they just wrote you massive amounts of opiates and nobody wanted to do surgery because I was under the age of 30. So every doctor was like, I'm not touching this guy. Here's some pills. And so honestly, it became to the point where I was a zombie. I was in a hospital bed in my living room where I couldn't walk for almost 2 years. I had a walker. It was really depressing. And so, but that was it. At one point I had to go to the hospital for they had to do a bone biopsy, and they gave me the stuff to put me out for the bone biopsy. And the guy's having a conversation. He's like, you don't feel anything? And I was like, no, why? He's like, I just gave you a massive amount of something. And he looked at my chart. And he's like, wow, there's nothing I can give you anymore. You're maxed out.
Oh, wow.
So that was it. So it took that and then just years of physical therapy. I don't take any opiates anymore at all. I haven't in a really long time. And I don't want to say that I don't ever want to, because it was such it wasn't for fun. It was literally just to survive pain, really. So it was a different thing. But when I woke up from all that, the problem was I had all these issues that I didn't really know about because I was so numb for so many years. I mean, from the age of 19 to the age of, 30, I don't remember much of anything. It's literally just a blank slate that's gone. I have bits and pieces, but that's it. Which is probably a good thing because it was not a great.
Yes.
But anyway, that's when I started with the guitar. I read a whole bunch of books and I watched a whole bunch of TV, and then after a while, there's only so much of that you can do. But the guitar, I could just lay I play better laying on my back, which is pretty funny. We can't do that in public because it's not really socially acceptable. But I would just lay and just play that was it. And that's what got me through coming off of all. I was taking Ambien and opiates, so I literally couldn't sleep for like a month coming off all that. And then just the pain because all the pain came back. It wasn't like it went away. So anyway, back to, I know that was a very long answer to your question, but the point is yes, I still suffer from pain. Every day I have to do about 2 hours of stretching just to be able to kind of move normally, or else I look like I'm 90. And that's it. Because, but, and then on top of that, I do all the issues that came about that I had that I didn't really know about. So like I had a bunch of anxiety issues. I have severe OCD. And all that kind of came to the forefront, and it kind of got exacerbated, unfortunately. But I wasn't going to go back on opiates to numb myself. So I just started to try to deal with that little by little. And it did. It was really hard. But really what I would say is that Kiara she genuinely, when I say the name Key to Adam is there's multi meanings there. She genuinely makes me function. Like I don't still to this, I'm better, but I'm not functioning. Like if you had me by myself for a week, we would be worried about Adam. Seriously. So like I can go to the store by myself, but I have trouble. And a lot of times I have to leave before I've even bought anything because I can't, and it's trouble. But it is what it is. But really when we go places and we play music, I can do it. That's it. I can do that. And that's about all I can do. I mean, I can do other things, just not consistently well. But seriously, that's why for a long time we played schools. We still do. We play schools and retirement homes. Not when numbers are bad on the sicknesses and things. We obviously are careful. But seriously, that's like the best immersion therapy in the world. You take somebody who doesn't have kids and is severely OCD, and you put them in a cafeteria with 300 kids, and you watch their head explode. You just hear 30 kids coughing and 3 are sneezing, and oh my heavens! But it's all worth it. We absolutely love it. I mean,
the schools
I'm not joking. That is our favorite thing to do. So that's why the way we play and what we do is a little bit unique. We play gigs, obviously, but it's more niche-y. So at the beginning, we tried to play where I would assume every band would play, and it was a depressing string of trying to play places, and everybody's like, "You do what?" And we're like, oh, "All right." So we do have an interesting. So do you mind? I don't know if I can go. Did you have another question, or can I kind of transition?
No, go.
It was great grandfather.
Yes, you got a picture. Look at this. Look at that.
Oh my God.
That's spectacular. We'll send you the picture.
Okay.
I'm excited. I didn't even know that one.
Does your family still have that fiddle?
No, actually, I don't know what happened.
We got to find it. We're going to find it.
One day they're like,
we're going to find it. Believe me, she's from, so her family's from Webster County. And I won't get into too much of that, but I'll just tell you, that's an area that still doesn't have any cell phone service. We go there all the time, and it's truly like, it is just the mountains of West Virginia. It's one of the most beautiful places you'll ever go. But I mean it when I say is the families there all know each other so well that we're going to find this thing. I know somebody knows what it is. I'm sure it was like inscribed into a quilt or something. But what were you going to say? So,
like from my mom to me, the triangle house. Yeah.
Oh, the house. That is one thing I wanted to mention. So when Kiara first showed me, she took me out to where her family grew up. And again, I'm from right outside of Philadelphia. So where I grew up, we had farmland. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like there wasn't anything, but I've
heard.
Yeah. Yes. But so she took me the first time to where her mom grew up. And this blows my mind because I want to preface, we're not famous, but we play for West Virginia. Like we play at the Greenbrier, which for West Virginia, that's like having done very well. And so I always use this as an example because it blows my mind. When I saw where her mom grew up, I'm not kidding when I say this, it was an A-frame house that was 12 feet by 15 feet, one room, that's it, with an outhouse. And it was a quarter mile from the closest dirt road.
Oh God!
Dirt
just the road, not even the store.
Yeah. So you had to hike.
That's what I thought he was going to say.
No, just those dirt roads. So I mean it when I say, like, I saw that and I see like how in one generation, and even her mom is an incredible crafter. She's got this channel that does amazing. She helps all these women learn how to craft better, and it just blows my mind what they're just hard work and just resolve. She blows my mind with all of stuff that she's able to do. I don't even know how to keep up. She sews now and she makes her own dress. She made this.
Yeah.
She makes her own ball gowns, like huge ball gowns that she makes.
Let's talk about that for
I
a
was going to
second.
say, like, in addition, you're self-taught, right? Violinist,
Yeah.
pretty much self-taught. You are an amazing seamstress. Is that the term?
Yeah.
I get in trouble a lot because I use the wrong descriptions. But you're an incredible seamstress. I was following you on Instagram, and you do these dresses, and they're pretty amazing, and they're very original as well.
Super creative.
In October, November. I think November.
Well,
November. Yeah, November. Yeah. I just
so not even a full year. This is a project that's only 10 months in the making.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It blows my mind.
My mom told me whenever I was little that I always wanted to design and I wanted to have my own boutique. And whenever I started the music, she was like, well, the boutique stuff probably isn't ever going to happen because I started the music and that took a lot of my time up. And is that what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so whenever we started playing at these, stop laughing at me. Whenever we started playing at like these bigger places like the Greenbrier and stuff, I would always get like these beautiful long dresses, but they had these like long trains, but you can't find like a lot of long train dresses. And
like really long. Some of these are
flowy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start designing. And so I bought a like mannequin online and we went to Hobby Lobby and I started like just cutting fabric and just throwing it on the mannequin and pinning it. And it started looking like a dress. I'm like, look at this. It's just like, I
got pictures along the way, and I can attest that it started off, and I was like, what is going on? And then I was like, wait, that's it. Wow.
For like a week.
It was impressive.
Taught me.
He disappeared. Yeah, that was a tough week for Adam, but it's all right. I don't mind. My
grandma, she was a seamstress. She worked at Levi's sewing. She has like a whole sewing background. And I called Mama once I got it finished. My mom had like a Singer sewing machine that was so old that I actually broke it by trying to
first day
trying to sew it. And I told Mama, I was like, I need your help. I know there's stuff with this dress that isn't right. Like the waistline, it doesn't look right. So we took it down to her house and piece by piece, she started keep wanting to say showing to me tips and stuff like, okay, this is what you do. And then she would let me do it. And then I would take it back. And then we came up with the dress. And it was just so amazing seeing what I did. And then it like actually come to a completion.
So it was like learning by trial and error. It was really cool. So she didn't teach her grandma didn't teach her how to sew, but just kind of like, as she would show her, yeah, try this instead. And it worked out great.
And then
it's awesome.
Wore it to when we played during Christmas at the Green.
Yeah.
Love that.
It was a huge hit too. That was awesome. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So you've only been doing this for less than a year.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's getting to put it with the music.
I honestly, I've never met anybody that can set a goal for herself and literally will not do it. Like she everything she sets, she just doesn't stop until she attains it. It blows my mind.
Recently just made a Beetlejuice dress.
That was the one that I couldn't.
So much fun.
With the sandworm and everything. It was so cool.
The chicken dress, the farmhouse chicken dress. We have chickens, and I'm gonna like model with the chickens. It's gonna be so much fun.
Kiara, Adam spoke highly earlier of you, how you balance him, how you're kind of like, keep him level.
Keep him level.
Does he bring the same to you?
Genuinely, yes, I think so.
Maybe in a different way.
Okay. Because I don't have like the OCD and the anxiety and all that. So I
think I balance.
I think you're a great like supporter and you help me and
I think so. One of the things, because it was almost like, here's a good way to explain. When we first met, it genuinely was. I use that Jack Sprat analogy just because it's kind of funny, but because honestly, when we go to eat, they're literally half of the chicken she won't eat, and it's my favorite parts of the chicken. So genuinely, when I say we like to play clean, that's not even just hyperbole. But anyway, so we when I say we compliment each other, it was genuinely like a perfect situation. When we met, she had been homeschooled, and it wasn't a bad homeschooling job, but it wasn't, like luckily I had my mom was like a newspaper editor. So like when I would leave her notes in the fridge, she would like in red cross out if I spelled something wrong. Like that's what I was used to. So like coming into it, it was great. Yeah. And Kiara, the other thing is, this is the other thing I really bounce you out of, is her only kryptonite, her only Achilles heel is math. And it's a big one. So I mean, if you said like 5 + 8, it would take her a couple minutes. But I'm kidding. But no, it was close. But so yeah, you're right. But my point is that was my thing. I was like a mathlete. I actually like won a state math competition. So honestly, like we genuinely, it's the perfect yin and yang. Like we're the perfect complement for each other. And it's not that I don't write things for her, but for instance, when we first started this whole thing, she actually, and that's the other cool thing, is the whole business, Key to Adam, she does herself. She started it herself. She runs it herself. She did all of the paperwork herself. She did all of the business licensing herself. She does all the taxes herself. She actually did it as a school project. That was like her final project, and it was amazing because it started a business. And she does all of it. And the other thing is, I was in business and I have that kind of mindset, but because my brain doesn't quite work like it used to, I can't do it consistently. So if you gave me like paperwork to do, I could do it for a few hours and then I would be unfunctioning for a very long time. And so it was like the perfect thing, because if she had a question, I could answer it, but I didn't have to physically do it all. And then so she learned that way. And then all the correspondence with everybody, brides and all the booking and stuff, she does all that. And it was similar. It started off where she would write the messages and I would edit, send it back, and then she would edit, send it back, and we would just go back and forth until it was a good message, send it out. And then now she does it all herself. And that literally, like, I can't think of a better way to learn than truly learning hands-on with that. And so it makes it fun. But on top of that, it makes it a little tricky because we do everything ourselves, which is good and bad. There's some pluses and some minuses to that. The one good thing is that because we do weddings, we mainly do weddings. That's what corporate, and we do mainly like weddings and corporate events. But the weddings, it's really a personal touch. So we, when the bride reaches out, Kiara ends up like they end up being like best friends. Like honestly, they get there and they're
connection.
It makes it awesome. And we did have a couple that like somebody booked them for us, and it was always a little bit tricky because we would show up and we didn't know. It was always just a little awkward.
Yeah.
And the way that we work in general, we aren't like a normal band. I don't know how to really describe that. So just as an example, our first gig ever, ready for this? This is awesome. It was an open house of a funeral home. Yeah, that's right. A funeral home open house. I didn't even know there were such things.
On our
website, there's
in our about thing, there is literally a picture of us standing at an open casket.
There's an open, empty casket.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, empty. I wanted to say empty because they didn't just like ship a body in for the open house. Like, can we borrow Barry for it? No, but
yeah.
No. So it was a very interesting one. And we played
grinding it out.
Applebee's gift cards.
Yeah, and you didn't even get to eat Applebee's.
That's right. And then so we tried to figure out what worked best for us. And instead of, we didn't really, again, one of the things that's hard is we donate so much of our time, and we want to, we want to just be able to go on a Wednesday to a high school or to an elementary school or to a retirement home or to a hospital. Like, that's what we do on our normal days. So, I mean, if you approach a booking manager and you're like, hey, do you mind working for us? But 80% of the stuff's going to be for nothing. Is that cool? They're going to be like, wait, what? So, that whole idea just didn't really work out, just for the way that we work. Plus, with everything that I deal with, we have to be careful anyway. We can't book too much. And so it's not like we can't book like 4 days in a row. And then, so we have to work things a little bit differently anyway. So it gives us the ability to really control what we do. And if things are looking tough, then we just book more, then we just go to retirement homes for a week and everything, and we feel better. So it's nice.
That's good.
Yeah. That was long. That was
no.
When you guys,
good question.
when you were writing us,
piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know what I'm trying to.
Is this a different way from the Jerry Maguire quote?
I remember Tom. You like completed everything.
Oh, that is the Jerry Maguire quote, but she's never seen. Well, you complete me, but mind you, she's never seen Jerry Maguire, so she's not stealing that line.
Yes.
When you write a song, how do you go about doing that? Does one of you start and the other just join in, or what's your process kind of like?
Yeah, no, that's exact. So typically I would start.
Yeah.
And so it depends. Actually, I would say it depends on how we're trying to learn the song. So if it's a song that we're coming at, like if we need to learn it for a wedding, a lot of times Kiara, she'll listen to it and just get the melody down. And then we might have to change the key, and that therein lies, we need to always figure that part out. And then typically I'll just listen to the song, and normally within a few minutes, you can always kind of tell where they're going with it. And then, some songs obviously are a little tricky, and maybe you look up a few notes, but most of them are within, there's only so many notes, but anyway, I'll start playing, whatever if it's an intro on piano, that's what I love. And what I love about fingerstyle is I almost equate it to playing piano on guitar. So anytime it's like a song, if you ever hear a song that starts off with like a piano intro, that's always the one where I'm like, yes, this is my bread and butter, because I can really kind of play that kind of stuff. Or even just like a nice country song with like a nice guitar intro is normally a nice way to start. And then Kiara will literally just start playing along, and that's it. Now, if we write a song, and that's different, I'm sorry. So that's why I want to say, if we write a song, what I'll do is I literally just play a chord progression, almost like the first day we met. And that's what's kind of cool, is if you told us I need 30 seconds of original material right now, we'd have it to you in 35 seconds. Because honestly, if I just play any chord progression, she'll come up with some, I don't know how she does it. I seriously don't, because most of the notes I wouldn't even consider. And that's what makes it so cool, is because it's stuff I like. Even if I was going to write a song myself, I would never have considered most of the notes that she plays in it, and they make it so perfect. And that's what makes it great. So that's it. If we're writing one, I just play a chord progression. She starts playing along. We'll do that for 15 minutes. And then we'll take all the parts that gave us goosebumps, and we just put them all together.
Like magic.
That's the canary in the coal mine, is the goosebumps on the back of the neck. If the hairs stand up, it's a winner. Check that part off, and it's going in the final.
Right on. Well, where can people find you online if they want to hear your music? If they want to, I don't know, crash a wedding you're doing, or maybe a funeral home open house.
DJs that actually post where they're going to be, and I'm like, are you?
Makes me nervous. Makes me nervous.
Because we have a website that's under Key to Adam. Anything, you can find us on anything. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I don't really post that much on YouTube, but Facebook and Instagram is mostly our main thing.
Yeah.
That's a long answer.
Yeah. And then we do play locally. And actually, we do travel all over. We did a wedding in Michigan. We did a wedding in Georgia. Or South Carolina. Sorry, we were close to Georgia. I remember seeing a sign.
Same thing.
That's all. I don't know. Seriously, I really. That's that one time. But I mean it when I say that a general day for us. I normally don't really know where we're going that much. I mean, I know the general idea, but like I don't know ahead a couple of weeks of what we're doing. She gives it to me in pieces, and she honestly she piecemeals it based on what she thinks I can hang. It's amazing what she's like a filter for me. It's incredible. But yeah, so that one I just knew we were driving far and south. But
right.
And then we play the Greenbrier is one thing that I absolutely adore. That was a dream for us, honestly. When
that was like main goal.
It was like a main goal for us, and when it actually happened, it was like it just blew us away. But we play it's Christmas time, and it's every weekend in December, and then Christmas Eve. So it's Fridays and Saturdays, and then Christmas Eve as well. And it's such an amazing time. That place is genuinely one of the most magical places at Christmas I've ever seen. It doesn't get more magical. And luckily, the last couple of years we've done it, it has snowed right then as well. Well, the one year was like -10, so that was a little bit too much. The windows were frozen, but it's a beautiful place. Yeah, it really is fun.
The podcast, it's called "Is Breakfast Included?" And if we were having breakfast, what would you have?
So that's a great question.
If we were at Bob Evans.
Bob Evans.
Blueberry pancake with whipped topping, extra crispy bacon, and home fries. Yep.
And you know that would be.
I like how she just came out with that.
She knows.
You know.
She knows where to go.
Yeah, that was. It's almost like she knew that was coming. But no, I mean it when I say the funniest part is that's what I would choose if this were like 20 years ago. But now, unfortunately, I get to watch her eat that while I eat 4 or 5 egg whites with spinach.
That doesn't sound as fun.
And that's it.
You know what? That sounds like our breakfast when we go
really rough.
breakfast.
Have like oatmeal. He's got like a short stack.
Yeah, short stack. Bacon. As much fat on the bacon as they can possibly put.
I love it.
Yeah.
I would in a heartbeat. A problem. That's the one kicker is to do all this music stuff. I have really bad arthritis as well, so I can eat all that stuff. But if I do, I can't play guitar.
Yeah.
We actually have a limit where if I eat a certain amount, there's certain songs that I can't play. So we know where that rule is. But so it makes it a little tricky. But whenever we have a week off, I eat a little rough, and then I don't leave the house for a few days.
Right on, well, thank you guys so much. It was really good talking to you. It was good getting to know you guys, and we look forward to seeing more of you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. It was great getting to know you, and great getting to see you and talk to you at least. Oh my gosh. I have no idea how cool this is. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right on.
That wraps up another week's episode of Is Breakfast Included? A big thanks goes out to Adam and Kiara for sharing their stories, and to you guys at home for sticking around. I hope you're walking away with some inspiration, some laughs, and maybe even a new favorite artist. You can find them at keytoadam.com or KEYTOADAM on all platforms. If you enjoyed hanging out with us, be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and maybe even tell a friend, because who doesn't love a good breakfast chat? You can also go to isbreakfast.com to find all of our links. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also check out our store and grab an Is Breakfast Included t-shirt to represent. We've got more delicious content cooking, so stay hungry. And remember, around here, breakfast is always included. See you next week.